And a good day to everybody. God's grace be to you. It is April the 14th, 262 days left in the year. Scripture of the day from James 1:5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask God that giveth to all men liberally and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him. And if you want to read the Bible in the year, 1 Samuel chapter 25 to 26 and Luke chapter 12, verses 32 to 59. Here's some thoughts for today. Live now. Make now always the most precious time. Now will never come again. Self-importance is our greatest enemy. Learn to see in another's calamity the ills that we should avoid. Motivation for today. If a man does not make new acquaintances as he advances through life, he will soon find himself alone. A man should keep his friendships in constant repair. On today in history, the War of the Roses, the Yorkists defeat the Lancastrians in the Battle of Barnet in 1471. In 1828, Noah Webster publishes his American Dictionary of the English language. In 1931, Spain becomes a republic. 1981 was the first space back to Earth normal landing of the American space shuttle. 1996, British golfer Nick Faldo wins the Masters golf title for the third time. Here's your personal story for today. John 6:35. And Jesus said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh after me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. References today will be from Matthew 13:53 all the way to 14:36. So what is true faith? In today's verses, Jesus' miracles followed up on yesterday's parables. These miracles essentially continue to explain the nature of true faith. What can we learn? Initially, we see that true faith is a necessary condition for miracles. The people of Jesus' hometown, Nazareth, thought they knew him, and the familiarity bred contempt. They saw for themselves his miraculous power and heard his wise teaching. But their amazement did not spur them to faith. Instead, they pridefully took offense and rejected him. He's just Joseph's son. Who is this guy? Prophet has no honor in his own hometown. True faith, by contrast, makes us willing to sacrifice our very lives in the cause of righteousness. John the Baptist provides a good model, as we've heard earlier. He had condemned the public immorality of Herod's brother. Then, thanks to an angry woman and Herod's careless promises, he paid the ultimate price. No doubt he died strong in his faith, seeing Jesus had responded to his questions that we covered off a few days ago. Is this the Messiah, or are we waiting for someone? And Jesus happened to say, look at the miracles. Look at what happened. This is a fulfillment of prophecy. Finally, true faith can do what seems to be impossible. If we see through the eyes of faith, that is, if we keep our eyes fixed on Christ and his promises, we can run our spiritual races victoriously. His presence is the key to keeping up our courage. We have been filled with the Spirit. We have the power to get things done, the miracles for everything. But do we have the faith to use it? Here's some devotional thoughts for today. We can all struggle with spiritual negativity and laziness. Some days our circumstances threaten to overwhelm us. We talked about the parable of the sower and the seeds, and the weeds just tend to choke us out sometimes. So many times we obviously just don't feel like we do it. And for one reason or another, God seems far off and unreachable. David faced times like this, and we read through the Psalms quite often that the despair, the anguish, the what's the deal, God situation as he's sitting there in a cave and Saul is trying to kill him. You just read through the passion and the heart of the Bible in the Psalms. And so Psalms gives us a key to living victoriously in the dark periods of life. Just take a look in Psalm 119, for instance, in verses 89 to 85. Forever, O Lord, your word is settled in heaven. Your faithfulness continues throughout all generations. You established the earth, and it stands. They stand this day according to your ordinances. So our circumstances or feelings, they shouldn't have changed in God. He's the same God today as he was when he hung the stars in the sky, led the Israelites through the Red Sea, and fed 5,000. He is always waiting to serve us so that then we can be motivated to serve others despite our feelings. His plan works regardless of our feelings. As the chorus says, trust and obey. There is no other way. Psalm 31 verse 23 says, O love the Lord, all you saints, for the Lord preserveth the faithful, and plentiful rewardeth the proud doer. People meet, fall in love, and decide to marry. Sometimes they marry with many misconceptions of what marriage will be for them. Romantic notions are often overwhelming, yet those notions don't always materialize after marriage takes place, for instance. We fall back into reality. Reality doesn't make room for lots of romance. We have to work, keep the house, and soon along comes the children. You know, maybe by this time there's a mortgage or a rent to pay, and there's all kinds of things that are there. And suddenly the dreams of midnight talks and romantic moonlight, red roses, anniversaries, chocolates, Valentine's Day, vacations in the islands, they don't happen. Nevertheless, we don't call the marriage off. Maybe there's going to be an argument. Maybe there's going to be that one day when something happens and somebody says something to the other person and it ends up in an argument. You work through it. You work through it. Just because it's not a storybook marriage, you know, if that's even a thing these days, we are committed to having a happy relationship, to love each other until death do us part. No, we work to make our marriage happy and an example that our children can look to. And, you know, we want to, because eventually they'll start married lives and they will look to the example that we set. So we're committed to a happy relationship, to love each other until death do us part. Let's make that our commitment today and forever. Spiritually, love is a commandment. We are told to love our neighbors as ourselves. We first have to love ourselves in order to love another. When we commit our lives to another, as in our marriage vows, we are to love that person as we love ourselves. When we commit our souls to God, his love then dwells in us, and we show forth this love to others. It's a sacrifice sometimes, but we do it because it's better. We have to stay committed to God daily in order to have his love flow out of us so that others may see the power of Christ in us. That's the end for today. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. Like I said, we've got these devotions going up every day, 10 minutes, a scripture, a thought, a joke, some history, some fun facts. It's an enjoyable time. So share this with a friend, click a like. We'll see you again tomorrow, but stick around for the fun facts. Did you know the book that is most stolen out of the public library, the world record is the Guinness Book of World Records? And termites eat wood twice as fast when listening to heavy metal music. Some scientist somewhere did that. Closing thought. Lord, help me to do what I can, and in doing, to find new confidence of larger responsibilities. I have a joke for today. According to a report, the US has a bazooka-like gun used for firing dead chickens at aircraft windshields as a safety test. They supposedly sent one of these guns to the UK for the British to use. Not long after this, the British sent a US memo saying their aircraft windshields must be defective. Not only did they all fail the test, but they're also caused considerable damage to the instruments and even some broken seats. Well, the US reportedly replied, by the way, the chickens are supposed to be thawed, not frozen when you load them into the bazooka. Here are some headlines from newspapers. These are actual headlines. Red tape holds up new bridges. You mean there's something stronger than duct tape? Something went wrong in jet crash, experts say. No, really? Miners refuse to work after death. Oh, it's lazy, no good. It probably juvenile court to try shooting defendant. We'll see if it works any better than a fair trial. War dims hope for peace. Yeah, I can see where that might have an effect. If strike isn't settled quickly, it may last a while. You think? Cold wave linked to temperature. Who would have thought? Enfield couple slain. Police suspect homicide. You know, they may be onto something. New study on obesity looks for a larger test group. You mean they weren't fat enough already? Kids make nutritious snacks. Do they taste like chicken? Local high school dropouts cut in half. Oh no, Chainsaw Massacre all over again. Hospitals are sued by 7-foot doctors. Boy, are they tall. Typhoon rips through cemetery. Hundreds dead. Did I read that right? That's all I got. Thanks for coming. God bless.